What's going on, everybody? Got another video here for you. This video we're going to look at defining and solving equations. So let's get started. All right, so let's say we have an equation and we want to solve it. We're going to do a simple linear equation. So let's go ahead and define our equation. We'll call it EQN, and we'll put a colon, and we want to do 3x minus 6 equals 6x plus 5. And I typed it in like this on purpose because I want to remind you, as you have seen in other videos, you see the 3x, you have to put 3 times x, the shift and the 8 key, the little asterisk. You have to put that. And we will put semicolon and enter. Okay. Semicolon, shift, enter. So there's our equation. We got 3x minus 6 equals 6x plus 5. So let's just go ahead and solve it like we would on pencil and paper. So the first thing we would do is what? We would add 6 to both sides to get the minus 6 on the right hand side. So I can hit percent. So remember, that's percent. That's I'm doing that to the last output, and I'm gonna do plus 6 semicolon and shift enter. So that gives me 3x equals 6x plus 11. And then I need to bring the 6x to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 6x to both sides. So I'm going to do percent, and I'm going to subtract 6 times x. All right. And semicolon and shift enter. So I get negative 3x equals 11, and now I need to divide both sides by negative 3. So I've got percent divide negative 3. And I'm semicolon, and I'm going to shift enter, and I get x equals negative 11 thirds. Okay? All right, so that's our solution. Now, we can also check this. Okay, so let's look at checking it. So to check this, if we plug negative 11 over 3 back into our equation, we should get the same thing on both sides of the equal sign. So since we defined an equation, see how we got our equation defined up there, our first line? We can actually use right hand side and left hand side. It recognizes that on the equation. So I'm going to substitute negative 11 over 3. That's the number I'm plugging in for x. Okay, comma x for x, and I want to substitute that into just the right hand side of the equation. So I'm going to take RHS, right hand side, of EQN. That's what my equation is. That's what I named my equation. I'm going to close the parentheses there, semicolon, and shift enter. And I get negative 17. So now when I substitute this in on the left hand side, I should get the same thing. So I'm going to substitute negative 11 over 3 in for x on the left hand side of our equation, EQN, semicolon, shift enter, and I get negative 17. Okay, so obviously if you're using this software here, you don't really want to go through all these steps to solve an equation, but it's what this is doing. It's teaching you some commands too. Okay, it's teaching you different things you can do with the software. All right, now what if we want to solve the equation natural log equal sine x. Okay, so let's go ahead and define our equation. We'll call this equation 2, and that is going to be log x equals sine x. Okay. All right, so there's equation 2, log x equal sine x. I put a dollar sign. I didn't want any output. So now let's solve. We're going to use the solve command, and I want to solve equation 2 for what variable? For x. And I'm going to put a semicolon, shift enter, and look what it does. It just tells me sine x equal log x. So it can't solve it. Okay? It can't solve it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use a different command to solve this. Okay? When wxMaxima, it just repeats the question. Okay, that means it fails to solve it. Okay, you can basically solve, some polynomial equations, stuff like that. So we got to figure out a way to. We got to see where a way to solve this. Well, if we put sine x and log x on the same side, okay, you notice we have our equation 2. We got log x here equals sine x. So if we move sine x to the other side, what happens? Well, that would give us natural log x minus sine x equals 0. So what we'll need to do is we need to plot that, and we need to find like an estimate, like a little interval or something, and we're telling wxMaxima to search for a solution in that interval. Okay, so let's draw this. We got wx draw 2D. Okay, wx draw 2D, and we'll do a parenthesis, and we'll hit enter, and we want grid equals true. We've got explicit. We got log x minus sine x, and we're going to graph it. The variable is x, and we want to graph it on 0 to 10. And let's see. Okay, I think that should get it. All right, let's hit shift enter. Oh, wrong number of arguments. I missed a parenthesis. Oh, I guess it'd help if I put a X right there, wouldn't it? All right, let's hit shift enter, see what that does. There we go. All right, come on. There's my graph. Took it a little while to load, but we're there. But you can see, here's my graph. And what are we looking for? We're looking to see when, now notice our equation, we had natural log x equals sine x, and we moved the sign over, so natural log x minus sine x equals 0. So we're wanting to know where is that 0, and you can see it's 0 right here. Our y value is 0, and we can see that looks like between x equal 2 and x equal 4. That's where it is. So now we can go about solving this. So we're going to use find root, and I want to find the root of natural log x. And remember, in wxMaxima, I use log x. Put the parenthesis for me up. Log x minus sine x, and we want to find the root between 2 and 4. So that should get it right there. Semicolon, and we do shift enter, and there it is. You want to give it a place to start. Okay, you want to give it some place to start. That's why, I mean, we have no idea where the solution is, and that's why we graph it, so we can figure out, okay, it's between 2 and 4 is what it's showing. And so that's the interval we tell it to look for. Okay, to look in that interval and start solving from there. All right, what if we wanted to solve a system of equations? Okay, let's try that. Let's say we'll call this L1. We're gonna define that. That's gonna be 2 times x minus 3 times y equals 5, and we'll do a $sign, and we'll hit enter, and then we'll get line 2 is going to be, so I'm putting a colon to define it, and that's going to be 3 times x plus y equals 2 $sign, and enter. Now I want to solve this system of equations. So let's solve, parentheses. Now I want to solve the equations L1 and L2. That's my 2 equations. So in a bracket, I'm going to put L1, comma, L2. All right. And then I'm going to move outside that bracket and put a comma. And what am I solving for? What are my variables? My variables are x and y. So in a bracket, I'm going to put x, comma, y. And then I need to move out here and put a semicolon, and let's hold shift enter, and you can see there is my solution. Oh, I don't know why I put a 7 right here. That should have been a y. Let's change that. That's the good thing about this. You can change it and hit shift enter, and there's your solution, 1, -1. Okay. And now, how about we take a look at it? Let's take a look at the graph. We're going to graph the 2 lines, and we're going to plot the solution on there. So let's do wx draw 2D parenthesis, and let's hit the enter. Let's hit it again. So we'll do it line by line. We want grid equals true, comma. Let's see, we want color equals black, comma, and then we're going to do implicit, and we want to do L1. We're going to draw the first line, and we're going to draw the second line, and both of those are going to be the color black. All right, so I know my solution's -1, or is 1, -1. So I'm gonna plot this on a grid of, let's do -2 to 2 for the x and -2 to 2 for the y, and that'll get everything in there. So my variable's x, and it's gonna go from -2 to 2, and then my y is gonna go from -2 to 2. Parenthesis, and we'll do another comma, and then I'm going to implicit, what did I do? time with that, getting that L on there, huh? L2, comma, x, comma, negative 2 to 2, comma, y, comma, negative 2 to 2, and then close parenthesis, comma. And now we want to do the point. So I want to do that, color equals red, comma. And then I want my point type equals 7. That'll make a solid circle. And comma. And then points. And to do the points, we have got to put parenthesis. And then we got this. We hit the bracket twice. 1, comma, negative 1. And I believe that's it. And then we've got this. And hopefully I typed everything in correct. And we're going to hit Shift Enter. And wait for it to plot it for me. Let's see what we get. There we go. And there it is. There's the graph of it. All right, so in this one, you learned how to define an equation. You learned how to solve an equation, a basic equation. You learned how to solve one where wxMaxima just wouldn't solve it for you. So, you know, there you have it. So, and we did some graphs. So hopefully going through this, we're gonna do quite a bit of graphing on this. So hopefully you'll get pretty good at the graphing part of it too. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my other videos. Give me a like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.